Hi traders, this is Mikael Foucault from beststrategiesfortrading.com, and now I'm preparing the European markets before the opening of the markets on the 3rd of December 2013. Actually, I have not found any more or less limit orders than I had yesterday, so I will actually repeat the video as I made yesterday. So let's have a look what I said yesterday. First, take a look at how I work. I'm a swing trader. I use Contrarian style. I bring my methods from price action levels like pivots, troughs, peaks, trend lines, moving average, gaps, Fibonacci's. I'm only looking at stocks that have average daily turnover with more than $10 million or equivalent in euro or pound sterling. I find my setups from my own developed scanning algorithm. I built them in the Metastock platform. If you want to know more about price action levels and how their philosophy and the psychology behind it, please look at my tutorial video on YouTube on this channel. My money management, I at the moment have a position size of 20%. I get a target of 2.6%, trailing target, reset end of day. My stop is minus 1.3%. It's also a trailing stop, reset end of day. I'm going to show you my favorite example from price action levels. This is the SPY, this is the S&P 500 tracking ETF. You can see the peak in the year 2000 and how that price from the peak made up a very heavy resistant level. You can see how the price came up to that level and it turned back not only once but twice. You can also have use trend line by connecting several troughs. This is an example of that, for building a support line that you pick up trades from. The only indicator that I use is actually the daily 200 moving average. I believe that the daily 200 moving average is the most and popular indicator out there by far. That's why I use it. And what I'm really like about price action levels, it's time frame independent. It means that if I change this time frame to monthly data, you can see my levels are still the same except the indicator, and that means that any trader that used price action levels from peaks, troughs, etc. will use the same price levels, will use the same setups, will take action at the same time, and that of course increases the chance that you are going to be ahead of the curve and be on the right side of the trade when the market changes or that particular stock change. That's not the case with indicator, because the indicators change values if you change time frame. Most of the time that's the case. Okay, enough preaching. Take a look at the first chart. This is Sedzucker, and I'm using the Fibonacci. I use the 618. I bring up this line, and it's gonna, doesn't matter if I change to weekly in this case, it's gonna be the same levels. And I'm also having this minor peak pivot, and that's why I put in my support line, and that's why I also put in a buy limit order. When I calculate this exact on the penny, I came up with a value of €16.47. So that's where I put in my buy limit order. And of course, you always need to take a look at if that stock has an earning coming up, because you want to be holding a position overnight and then an earnings release come up before the opening and the stock gaps 5, 10, 15% not in your favor. That's a huge risk and you can't afford that risk. That's why I always check if that stock has any earning in the near future. Okay, next chart. AstraZeneca. You can see this easy to find peak. I changed the monthly. It's easy to see what is the highest point. This is 383 and 80 cent. This is the AstraZeneca from Stockholm's stock exchange. So we're talking about 383 krona and 80 öre. That's where I put in my level for a short sell limit order. I'm also checking if AstraZeneca has any earnings coming up. No earnings for AstraZeneca. Okay, and take a look at the next chart. Centrica. This is, you probably see it, but it's easy to see it if you have a daily chart. This is the trend line I'm looking at, connecting this trough to this trough, and you have a trend line. And when I calculate this on the penny before the video, I came up with a support level of 329.50. That's where I put in my buy limit order on this support from the trend line. Checking for earnings on CNA.L Centrica. Okay, no earnings on Centrica. Okay, I'm gonna take next one, read elsewhere. You can easily find your high peak. This is the highest peak around the millennium, and that's have a value of 16 and 19. 16 euros and 19 cents. That's where I put in my short sell limit order. Check for earnings or read elsewhere. No earnings. Okay, take a look at the next chart. That was actually all the 4 charts that I have at the moment. So we wrap it up. I bring in the list. You have read elsewhere 16 and 19 cent short sell. Zucker Germany 17 and 47 buy limit order. Centrica UK 329 and 50 cent or 50 penny. That's the support level where I put in a buy limit order. And AstraZeneca from Stockholm 383 and 80 öre. That's where I put in my short sell limit order. Okay, that was all for today. And remember, this is my private opinion. This is not in any case an advice for anyone to do the exact same. And if you do trades, remember, it could be risky, it could be dangerous, and like I do, I never put too much money that I can't afford to lose on any given trade. That's a very golden rule that I hope everyone is following. Okay, thank you for your attention and happy trading.